So welcome back to another watercolor demonstration video. This is a very recent sketch that I did at Stratton's, which is a hotel in Swaffham in Norfolk. It's leading to Stratton's. Stratton's is just around the corner. Typical Norfolk scene with Pantile roofs, lots of flint. This is kind of about 1 p.m. So kind of quite short shadows, but quite dramatic shadows. We've got them here and here. A few trees in the background, but mainly buildings and a couple of figures. So we're going to get straight into this one and let's get the sketch done. So here's the completed sketch. I've made things a bit smaller because on my sketch, just quickly show you, everything was really close up. I wanted to get a little bit of foreground in. So we've got a bit of foreground here. Yeah, so we're ready to start. Let's get the sky in. There's a very, very blue sky day. I think we're going to stick with that because we have lots and lots of details to pop in here. So we're going to keep the sky really simple, not to distract the eye from anything else. We'll put it down behind these trees as well. I think that's it. We'll just leave that to do its thing. We'll quickly use this number 12 round to pop in, just pop some liquid in there, just to pop in an underpainting of raw sienna. Just here in this foreground and the walkway up, put a nice little light touch of this under here just to unify everything really, even though we're going to be coming in with Pantile colours and flint. This is establishing a nice undercolour, a nice tone, and first wash, and there we go. We'll wait for that to dry and then we'll be straight back. Okay, so this is dry enough to work on. I'm just going to pop in some trees in here using our raw sienna, a touch of ultramarine. I'll just pop these in, just suggesting trees in the background. That'll do. Leave those little specks on there. That'll do its thing, bleed around. And then we'll start to work on some of these red bricks. Got some burnt sienna here. I'm going to because there's a lot of these, I'm going to kind of mix up the tone. That's the word I'm looking for. Some light, darker as we come forward. So that's the way we'll do that. Have a bit of dry brushing on here as well as we come forward. Let's see how we go. Let's try now. It's just basically taking the mixture out. Just create some nice kind of brick-like effects, I guess. That's it. Let's make these a bit stronger. Pop some in here as well. I mean, this was the Pantile roofs, but we also had kind of flint. We could suggest that with some of the underpainting, but we don't really fussing around with any details. There we go. And this building here. Pop this in. There's a nice chimney pot here. Brick chimney. That's a bit of a feature. And chimneys at the back. Another chimney at the back here. Pan-tile roof. These eaves are heavily shadowed. Pop in that pan-tile roof in a second when this is dry, but I might just get first little wash in there actually. Underneath. There we go. And these roofs as well. And then we're going to have to wait for all of this to dry. I think what I'm going to do here with this pathway coming around here, we're going to go grey. Otherwise, we've just got too much of the same. Similar colour. There we go. It's nice. Probably leave this quite simple. Just helps a little bit. This has done a strange thing, which I quite like. It's kind of, because this paper kind of rises up, it's pushed the paint back, and it's kind of painted its own little cloud. So I think we'll just leave those on the horizon. Okay, we've got to wait for this to dry now. Okay, so welcome back to the next part. Most of this is dry now, so we can start to work on this. Now, one of the things I like to do at this kind of stage when you've got buildings is to bring in some of the detailed work in terms of the pencil lines that we've had, and things like windows, doors, things like that. Notice how I'm holding the brush quite near the end, which will retain the looseness, so it's not lavishly going everywhere and copying what we had. You want this looseness of the brush. And lots of this paint is dry brush, just straight out of the tube, and this is fresh paint here, so it's looking good. The main thing here is not to be too precise. Just pop in some of these windows, and then we'll darken up some of these with some Payne's grey. I'm going in a little bit closer. I was holding it like a pen or a pencil, just because this is just a slight difference, really. I'll pop in the heads. And then we'll put in the rest of the bodies there. That's enough on that. Let's try some more different strokes up here. There's chimney. It's resisting the urge to like go over every single line, because the pencil lines will also come through anyway. This one we do need to sort out this pan-tile roof. chimney pot here, which I'm going to make a bit darker because it's a bit of a feature that. And when we pop in the shadows, it will, as we said before, totally bring this to life. Change the hand position again now, look. Just going a bit higher up. It's quite dry. It's good. I think that's just about done there. Just a couple of little touches on these eaves. Yeah, that'll do. Okay, we'll move on to the next section. So the next part really is thinking about some of these sort of tracks, and it's good to get in some dry brush, as we said before. You want plain passages, but you also want sort of active passages where you can see stuff going on. And we're going to pop in some of this cobalt blue for one of these characters, just in blue on the top. And then we'll pop in some cadmium red for the other character. Yellow, red, blue, always good to use to get the eye going to the focal point. And then we'll get some sort of dryness here with this burnt umber for the movement in the legs. Just go a little bit liquid here. Two. That's it. Okay, so far so good. The next thing to really think about are some shadows, but before we do that, I just spotted a little detail. I'm just gonna quickly pop in, which is some of these old-fashioned aerials from back in the day. Now all the satellite dishes are in favour, and those analog days are kind of gone. It's all digital now, isn't it? Okay, so we're gonna focus on the shadows. So shadow colour, some clear water. Just pop some couple in there. We're going to take some of this ultramarine blue, which will granulate nicely, and some of this crimson, permanent rose. And use mixtures of permanent rose and alizarin crimson. We'll make one redder and one not as red. One's further back. We will endeavour to make bluer. I need to look at my sketch and see what was in shadow and what wasn't. Okay, so there's quite a big shadow coming in here. Which is interesting. Little shadows under here. Under there. Along here and here. And this is why sketches are important, because they will be your record. I also took a photograph of this stuff. I needed to go back to that. But I wanted to keep the looseness. So we're focusing in on that aspect. All of this was in shadow. Just here. And that wasn't there, but this was. So it's just getting in quickly without fuss and fiddle. And the only thing that needs sorting out, these roofs, they need to be darker here. I'm just kind of looking carefully to see what I can see on this. That's about right. Interestingly, this was also more in shadow here. And I'm going to put in the classic something across the side. Coming across, this is always quite nice to do. Tree or something. Make it a building shadow from somewhere else. I'll just mix this shadow up with some warmer tones. And also need to go back and sort out those roofs, these Pantar roofs here. They're much darker. There we go. Sharpen up a couple of edges on that house. Kind of done. There's not much left really to do on this. Sometimes we can fiddle around so much that we kind of lose the essence of it. But I'm happy with that, except for here. I'm not happy. And I'm just going to take off some of this shadow with some clear water. You'll see what happens in a second. It will create almost like a sheen. Like a haze, almost like a dreamy effect. That's better. I just need to put the shadows back in under these guys there. But we're done. So as I said, the only little correction here with these guys' feet, I've kind of lost them in the mix. These legs rather, not feet. So we'll pop those in again. And final little bit, we're going to pop in some shadow. That's it, not much. I'll make it slightly darker, I think, in there. That's better. Little shadows. So mix in there. It's quite nice. I like the way this has kind of gone. Some lovely granulation going on there as well. It's just some of these edges where we popped in. I'm just going to sharpen up a couple of them. Because that was coming all the way across. I don't want to lose that. it's easy to fiddle around. Is that point where we go, whoa, stop fiddling. There. I did say there's going to be a few kind of bits and bobs and grass type suggestions here. So we'll pop a couple of those in. Well, this is kind of looking like it might be a bit of a fence, just a tiny one. Rickety broken fence. There we go. That's it. We're done. Hope you enjoyed that one. Remember to like, to subscribe, to ring that notification bell, but most of all, happy painting. And take care now. So I'm just going to take the tape off, see the final result underneath, and there you go.